just to get the ball rolling, if I could go down the line and ask each of you to talk about what you connected most with your character and what was most foreign or most difficult to connect with.
What did I mostly connect with? Really the fact that I hadn't played a character like this before, that I had an opportunity to sort of be in a different skin, so to speak, than I had been in prior. And just, it was a really sort of unpredictable character in a world that I hadn't known anything about. So it was exciting, and it's original, and that's rare that you find that combination in projects. And they backed a truck of money to the house. What am I going to do? I'm not going to say no at that point.
I was excited about the notion that the romantic dynamic between the two characters, Leonard and Penny, might go somewhere. I hadn't had a chance to play that before. You know, I'd played the romantic lead's annoying best friend or gay assistant or something like that. It was uncharted territory for me.
Well, I can tell you the thing I didn't connect with was viewers, and in terms of connecting, I absolutely, connected with Skip's antics. I think that, the character is kind of the black sheep of his family, and in a
That's
similar,
it.
yeah. No, Don.
Again.
Don, I'm sorry. Forgive me. Is the sheep of his family.
Thank you.
The white sheep?
Yes, is the Caucasian sheep of his particular family. And for me, it was kind of like a fun way to get all that energy out of my system.
The thing that I guess I connected to right away was the fact that I came into the show at the end of the second season, and so it was already this well-oiled machine, and everybody knew each other and were pretty close. And so I was sort of the new guy. My character was the new guy on the show in the office, and I was the new guy at work at the same time. So that sort of color of the character was very easy because I was actually getting to know all of these people at the exact same speed that the character was getting to know all of these people.
For me, it was when you get a pilot script for a half hour, it's like, I don't know, 30 pages or something, so there's not a lot. So you're kind of taking a leap of faith. But I guess for me, the thing that I was able to know that I was going to connect to at least one part of the show, which was I just had a daughter, and I was, I was falling in love with her, and this show is kind of about a father and his teenage daughter, and so I thought that I would always, whatever the show turned out to be, I would always be able to sort of connect to that, and the rest of the show I love too, but that part's always been sort of the anchor for me.
You guys have all moved between comedy and drama, from our perspective, pretty effortlessly. Is it effortless on your perspective, or is it still hard in Hollywood? Do you get typecast in one or the other? Are you always having to prove yourselves at all? Or, how is it these days?
I feel like, you guys correct me, I feel like actors always feel like they have to prove themselves, whether we do or not. I feel like we always put that sort of pressure on ourselves to, as you said, don't drop the ball, and you want to show up in the piece and really, play your part in the way that you hope makes the whole thing better. And I'd always loved comedy, and it's something that I'd done in school and something that I'd done early in my career. I was on a sitcom, and the chance to come back to it was really exciting.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of permanently in the out-of-work actor trying to scrape up auditions mindset, even though I've moved on from that, may move back to that at some point. But I think that, I was struggling for so much longer than I've had any sort of semblance of success that I'm always sort of in the guest star mindset where you always feel like you're either going to fail or you're going to get fired or this is your last job.
I'll
it's
make
always,
you feel better. My
yeah.
show was canceled. So.
Thank you. Actually, that makes me feel a lot better.
Alexander Payne is the perfect example of somebody who understands the gift that you can get from a comedian doing a dramatic role. Like whether you look at Will Forte now in Nebraska or what's his name from Sideways. Like there are these guys, I feel like in a way, the best drama is sometimes the sad clown who can really go there and bring a level of pathos to the role. And I
Yeah.
think that that's why you see so many comedians choosing to do that and being sought after for that.
I think for different, just for myself, the television shows I've done over the last years, there has been a different requirement on me as an actor for each one of them. On Law and Order, it was very specific that I was supposed to kind of not really understand why I was saying what I was saying. I just had to give information and kind of feel believable while doing it. And it was a very different quality than 6 Feet Under, where you'd come in and you'd kind of try to find what gets you going about the scene or about the relationships. And then this is, Suburgatory has been a very different thing, definitely from Law and Order, where Law and Order, my monitor was on if I was ever showing too much, if I was ever putting too much character above the plot, the story. It was interfering.
Would you hear that back? Would that be? Was that something you just understood? Or was
Yeah,
that
it
feedback?
wasn't it wasn't a spoken thing. It was something that was very obvious from the writing, and from watching the show.
The TV sort of has this growing respect, it seems like. So has it made it easier to move back and forth, do you think, between film and TV?
I feel like there's sort of it's less anathema from doing one. You can't do the other. I think that's gone. I mean, feels like it's less restrictive now.
I think it's almost like, I don't know, 10 years ago or maybe a little bit more, you started to hear, well, those lines are blurring. I think they're completely reversed in many cases. I mean, television actors and actresses come with a built-in audience of sometimes tens of millions, and people, that's only good news to a film studio.
You know, when I came out of school, I graduated in '86, and the sort of roles that in the '80s that we could get, those guest roles, they're now people who have careers or have had careers. You know, we couldn't have gotten those gigs now getting out of school.
That's the I think that's the negative side effect of all of this.
Absolutely.
I have so many friends who this past pilot season, amazing actors, could not get roles that they would otherwise have been thrown.
That's right.
We
cut our teeth on those roles.
Yeah,
That's
they would test for the roles, and instead the roles all went to stars.
That's right.
And I think that it's a blessing and a curse. The film industry is becoming, tighter and tighter. There's less and less product to make, and so we're all scavenging for other work. And you look at TV, and you're like, okay, let me do those jobs as well. And I think that the negative byproduct of that is a lot of great actors are being squeezed out of the system.
Johnny, you sort of talked about this at the start with the character, but the Leonard and Penny thing has become sort of unexpectedly this sort of epic romance on TV. It's really amazing.
I knew there would be flirtations with it. I didn't think it would ever necessarily come to fruition, but that was farther down that exploring that road of a relationship in a role that I had, so I knew I couldn't lose. And I think, especially in or multi-camera rather comedy, some of these relationships, you kind of have to earn it, There's not just the familiarity that the audience has with the characters now. We don't have to do a lot of exposition or explain a lot of background anymore. They really know these characters, and it's a byproduct of just the fortune of being around for a few years. But
Adam, you this may not be true, but it seems like your shows have always been on the edge every year of like, will they get renewed? No discredit to the shows themselves, which have been great, but does that affect you at all, day to day or week to week as an actor, or is it something you tune out?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to get picked up. I mean, I would be bummed out if Parks and Rec got canceled. The past couple of years we've had to wait till the very sort of the day of upfronts or the day before or something like that to find out. And last year was a bit of a nail biter. This year I think we were a bit more relaxed about it for whatever reason. But yeah, it is something I kind of follow because you not only do you want to know if the show's going to continue, but whenever you can plan out your life in any sort of way, apply some structure to your life, it's great. So just having the knowledge of I'm going to be here for this amount of time is like great, because for so many years I just have no idea like what I'm going to be doing, if I'm going to be doing anything, first of all, but then if I am where I'm gonna. And now that I have a family and stuff, so it's just kind of practical concerns, as well as just really wanting the show to come back because we would all miss it and miss each other and all of that.
We finished before we went on the air, so we had that about 1 month of bubble of oblivious, of being oblivious to the harsh realities of network TV. And I mean, it is true as a producer and as an actor on the show, I would see those numbers, and it makes your heart sink because you're creating something good. You can't control the things that are out of your hand, whether it's advertising, whether it's scheduling. And it's really hard because you have a lot of people who are counting on those jobs, who look at it as a family, who have these ambitions for where the show could go, who have these dreams about what the second season is going to be like. Again, we operated in that bubble of the show was done before it ever was given to the world. And one day I feel like I'll write a book called I Was a Part of the End of Network TV, where it's other than the rare shows like, Big Bang and Modern Family, it's a really precarious time right now to create new content. And Seinfeld would have been canceled in a year. Yeah. A lot of these shows would have been canceled immediately. And I think it's sad. I think it's a little bit frustrating because you want these things to work and you want to give it time to find its creative voice, but you can't. The time doesn't exist anymore.
A favorite moment from the past season of your show? It can be something you were in or just something about the show, but a favorite moment that comes to mind.
Favorite moment of my show? Well, I guess it was the end of the season when everything in my character's life had fallen apart, and my daughter wasn't living with me, and my girlfriend had broken up with me, and I go into the bedroom of my new house that has a leather living room, and the daughter of my ex-girlfriend now, who is seemingly vapid, girl, she's there, and she asks to stay the night because she thinks I'm a really good dad, and her dad is not around, and then she asks me to sing her a song because her nanny usually sings her a song, and I sang the song that my daughter's mother wrote. And it was a touching way to end the season.
And you'll sing it for us now?
Adam?
I really liked the wedding that they did, like in the middle of the season. Leslie, Amy Poehler's character and my character got married, and I thought it was beautifully written, and also shooting it was weirdly moving. Like, we're making a TV show. This is a fake wedding. We're all actors, but just the act of doing it and have the flowers and the Retta Sirleaf, who's on the show, she sang opera for Amy walking down the aisle. It was a very moving moment, and I thought it was beautifully written as well. It was really fun.
I would say that in retrospect, the last shot of the finale was, the perfect swan song to the series. Well, at the time, it was just a great ending to the season. It took on that much more meaning. So for me, the significance of that, I think, carries a whole different weight now, and I appreciate it that much more. My favorite thing was the podcast episode as just an actor, but that's kind of the most special moment for me.
Personally, my favorite moment was when Bob Newhart was on the show, and he played he played a hero to Leonard and Sheldon when they were growing up as kind of a Mr. Wizard, and he does parties, so they hire him to just come over to the house and hang out, and he's down on his life, Newhart's character, and to be able to say it's important to us that you know how much you mean to us. It was hard to say that to Newhart with dry eyes, because that is what we strive to do, to continue that legacy, and not just particularly to him, but all of the legends like him that came before us. It was a rough one to get through personally.
Mine was something that I wasn't even in. It was Matt Damon did an episode this year and just played a complete D-bag, and at the end shot a commercial for his fake charity that he just wanted. You know, when he came in and pitched it, he said, you know, I want a charity about the size of Clooney's charity, but you know, with bigger tits. So he did a spoof Damon's Children commercial where he had a machine gun and was going into harm's way and carrying little black children and protecting them and saying in the hospital, yes, give them all 5 cc's of, like he was a doctor all of a sudden, he knew everything. I thought it was pretty ridiculous and over the top, and that was probably my favorite thing this year.